Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. It's Jose here, welcoming you to another episode of Amazing Worlds, where today I am going to be talking about The House, or the Spanish edition, La Casa, by Spanish writer and artist Paco Roca. Now, it's not the first comic I highlight from Paco Roca. If you haven't done so, please watch my review on Wrinkles. I'll leave a link in the description below, because it is really worth your time. So, The House was first published in Spain in 2015, and eventually the rights were acquired and it was published in 2019 in English by Fantagraphics for the US market. And it is the 10th graphic novel by Paco Roca, if you discount his short stories, 10th graphic novel. He's a fairly prolific artist and writer, and it is a quality work. So in 2017, at the Rome Comic Con, it won an award for Best European Comic of the Year, and in 2020 it got an Eisner for Best International Comic. So there you go, quality stuff. So what is The House about? Now, like a lot of Paco Roca stuff, it is a very emotive human story. It is the story of three siblings who inherit the country house that their father built, and they are trying to decide what to do with that house. Do they want to keep it? Do they want to sell it? And throughout the story, they're trying to do it up a little bit. They're trying to spruce it up before selling it. And we learn about the past, how they got there, how the father from humble origins worked hard to provide for his family, to provide an education that he didn't have for his children. And we are presented with the three siblings' different perspectives on their father's final days, and how each one care or didn't care or look after their father, and how they all took it, and the tensions and the relations that inevitably happen between them. For anyone that has gone through something like that, it is impossible not to relate to this story. It reminded me so much of when my grandfather, after my grandmother died, my grandfather came to live with us, and he lived with us for a number of years before he eventually passed away. And I could see so much of what we went through reflected in the story, that it hit a nerve. And more to the point, when you consider that Paco Roca wrote this also after his own father died. I mean, the last page of the story is a photo of Paco Roca with his father. So he's poured a lot of his own emotions into here, and I'm not ashamed to say that I actually welled up a little bit. I felt quite emotional reading the story, because it's a very real, very human story. Now, as you see, it is written in this sort of strange landscape format, where most of the time you've got 6 panels per page. Sometimes the reading order of the panels can be a bit confusing when the page layout is not standard. But it is not going to really touch your mind. The story is only about 130 pages long. All you have to do is just a bit of a recap and go back to beginning of the page. This is a story where you can actually sit down and just read it through in one sitting. The artwork is nothing really to call home excited about. I suspect, or my theory, or what I believe, is that in order to be as prolific as Paco Roca is, he cannot spend ages drawing every panel. The art is correct. The palette of the story is very... there's a lot of yellows, a lot of ochres, a lot of oranges, reflecting perhaps a little bit the setting of where the story takes place, which is in some unnamed town, quite possibly in Paco Roca's home area of Spain, which is actually where I also live, where I have relocated my family. So the house of the story is set in an orange grove valley with views of the sea, which is very much similar to places where I have to drive through every day to get to work. So the area where we live basically supplies the whole of Europe with oranges and is near the coast, so I can sort of relate to the story a lot. I can sort of very much imagine where this house could have been built and where the story takes place. It's a short review. If you want to feel something, if you want to be touched by a story, if you're going to feel emotional, then I cannot recommend strongly enough The House by Paco Roca. And the amount of international awards it has received is merited. It is another example that comics are not necessarily all about superheroes. They're not necessarily all about manga. It can tell a touching, emotive story, just like any other written medium. And yeah, that's all I've got for today. Something a little bit different, something out of the ordinary. I suspect this is the kind of video that doesn't get many views, but I don't necessarily care, because this channel is all about me sharing what I like, giving my honest review, my honest opinion about things, and thanking you all for watching, liking, subscribing, for all the comments, letting me know what you think. And as usual, spread the message, spread the love, take lots and lots of care, and I'll see you next time. Bye.